Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a couple destined to be in love. Let us react to some Destiny.
Yes, we do.
Destiny 2, Season of the Wish. This is part 1 of that. This is a longer expansion. So I think it's probably going to be 4 parts for this one. If you want all of our Destiny reactions, check out the description of this video for a playlist. And if you want early free access, there's also a link to Patreon in the description of this video. You should check that out. Get a month ahead, or you can get a month ahead right here on YouTube. Hit the little join button.
You have options.
You do.
So many options.
Ready to do this?
Ready.
Okay.
The dreaming city. An awoken stronghold beyond the reach of any outsider. Such
Or so we
was
thought.
my wish. Granted by Riven, the last Ahamkara, who bargained only with me until my city was invaded. First by the Taken King, and then the Witch Queen. Riven struck new bargains with them, and with her dying breath, she granted a wish that laid a curse upon the dreaming city. But Savathun is shrewd and clever. In secret, she inscribed her true wish on the wall that governs the terms of Riven's pact with me. A wish to pursue the witness. Only Riven can open the way. Riven, whose heart was torn out by guardians. My Techeuns assembled to conjure her spirit now. We shall make Savathun's final wish, and hear Riven's final price.
Good setup.
Yeah. Although I think the Dreaming City needs a better security system. What keeps happening to that?
Yeah.
Guardian, my Techeuns are preparing a spell to conjure Riven's spirit so that she can grant Savathun's wish. However, the Vex of the Soul Divisive have laid siege to the Keep of Voices in an attempt to halt our efforts. I must call upon you to defend the Dreaming City once again. Petra and Crow will guide your path.
Apologies for not rolling out the red carpet.
Cool,
I've
ghost.
been preoccupied.
Haven't we all? What's our situation?
The Techeuns evacuated the keep with Riven's heart. The Vex have since fortified their position.
Then let's
Petra's
cut
back.
them down and take back what's ours.
A good start, but there are more Vex gathered around Riven's remains. The Techeuns need a fragment of those remains to cast their spell.
A spell to conjure Riven's spirit. Are you sure about this, Petra?
I'm sure that I trust my queen's judgment.
Yeah. That was me something like that.
Time to visit Riven's corpse. A shame I wasn't around to see the killing blow.
We never
I
should
wouldn't
have
be
done
sure.
it.
As long
She
as
set
Queen
a
Mara is.
trap and I walked right into it. My desire for vengeance blinded me to her schemes.
Yeah. I know the feeling. Whatever they're doing, you better put a stop to it.
That got their attention. Don't let them near Riven. That's the last of them. Retrieve the fragment and bring it to the chamber. I'll hail Queen Mara.
Riven's tooth.
Well done,
Going down.
Guardian. Deliver what my Techeuns require, and they will open a portal to the Wall of Wishes as they begin to conjure Riven.
Don't
F
let
you,
that
statue. Fuck out of my way.
Your deep sight will reveal Savathun's wish. Once Riven grants it, we can at last pursue the witness. Hear me, Riven. Savathun's final wish, inscribed in secrecy, has been invoked by the Guardian. Grant it now, and feast upon the difference between desire and reality.
Such a long slumber. Such a rude awakening. Grant the Witch Queen's final wish, you say?
Not gonna be that easy.
I refuse.
I saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
Leave us.
Queen Mara, what a joyous reunion.
For what reason do you refuse to grant the wish?
Why would I, O Majesty mine? Lest you forget, I am dead, as are the rest of my kind. The Vanguard made sure of it. I need no
You wish dragons were out of control.
use your wish, only a reason to grant it. What could you possibly offer to entice my cooperation? It wasn't enough for your champions to slay me, but then you saw to the destruction of all my eggs.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Like the one in Savathun's Spire?
Yeah, the one we got last.
Many, hidden within my lair, away from your vengeful eyes. But if you were to secure them on my behalf, then you would also secure your heart's desire.
And ensure that the Ahamkara live to terrorize us once again.
Yep. That's a problem for another day to deal with.
Very well, Riven. We have struck a bargain.
Shake on it? She was very comfy.
I knew there would be a cost in bargaining with Riven. I did not intend it to be a cost we kept paying all these years later. But now, the Witch Queen's scrolls have confirmed my greatest fear. The curse on the Dreaming City cannot be undone. I've pored over 1,000 possibilities, but the Corsair souls trapped there remain. I won't give up on them. Even with the curse in place, there must be a way to bring my people home. A task for tomorrow, perhaps. All this pain Riven has inflicted, and still we're beholden to her. There must be alternatives to restoring her clutch. The resurgence of the Ahamkara now, taken or not, could be disastrous. The Reef and the last city went to war to stop them before. For now, above all else, we must pursue the Witness. I need an operative to finish this bargain with Riven. Force her to enact the final wish. So while I ponder countermeasures, you do what you do best. Carve a path.
Done and done.
Greetings, old guardian mine. I always knew we could work together. I speak to you now with my true voice. Consider it a sign of trust.
Sure.
The need for deceit has passed.
Okay.
Don't trust
My
that.
corporeal death freed me from the Taken curse. My bargain with their king has expired. These Techeuns strain themselves to conjure my essence. They cannot do so forever. Savathun's wish will be the last I grant. Mara has made clear the terms of our agreement. Retrieve my last clutch of uncorrupted eggs, and I will uphold my end of the bargain. Obviously, I cannot gather the eggs myself. Instead, I will guide you to them through the holes of my former lair. And beware, Guardian. You may find it a place most unwelcoming.
Don't doubt it.
What have you come to claim, dear Guardians?
Wait, I recognize this place. How did we get here?
This is not our city. Only an echo.
We built those walls, you and I. Such elegant spires. A beautiful prison. I carved these chambers from those memories. I turned your home against you. Forgive me these small details. They keep out the burden.
Couldn't you show us a safe way through?
I am dead. What power lingers here is fixed to its original purpose. But if you wish it...
I think the Guardian can manage.
What a pity to see you brought so low. Bargaining for salvation at the behest of the witch queen. Desperation makes you brittle prey.
We have endured, and will endure, long after the memory of you fades.
Yeah, Mara.
We're not the only ones after this thing.
Let the egg come to harm, and I will owe you nothing.
Look, Riven, we're working on it.
Afraid, oh Guardian mine, or fall with what remains of your people, and alliances are fragile things. What happens when the threat of extinction is past? Take care you do not end up a pawn of greater powers. Remember, O Guardian mine, none of us are to be trusted.
Really bothers me that she says, "Oh, guardian mine." We're not yours. It's creepy.
Oh, Guardian, my Guardian.
Bad news, Guardian. I bring word from the Techians. Riven's clutch has dispersed across the ley lines of the Ascendant Realm.
In English?
They now orbit our reality like comets around a sun. Hopefully not beyond our reach. The Techians are uncertain how this happened, but they've detected a massive surge of paracausal energy across the entire transit system. The residual energy has allowed us to predict each egg's trajectory across the lines. The Techians themselves were once scattered across the lines in kind. Guardians were there to guide them home, and we can secure the clutch using the same strategy. Riven has caused so much strife, and yet we prostrate ourselves to placate her once again. And too many Corsairs will die on this quest to give the Ahamkara a second chance. As I said, we once utilized the ley lines to find the lost Techians.
Tangent over.
We can use them again. Fight your way into the blind well and reroute the lines through Riven's lair. We'll prepare landings for the clutch as best we can.
She said paracausal, so, you know, we gotta see Osiris. He's like a specialist.
Charge the wells and we can adjust the ley lines. With any luck, that'll put Riven's egg within reach. Now that the ley lines are aligned, the egg should pass within reach of you. You'll have to hurry. We need you in position when it arrives.
Scurry through these halls, all you please.
Thanks.
The Queen risks your lives, wastes precious time on her hollow promise.
Oh, is it less fun when something you want is at stake? Petra. Apologies, my queen.
Petra's right.
You know my conditions. Secure every egg, or the bargain is forfeit.
Yeah, gotcha.
Savathun knew of the clutch. Did she scatter the eggs on your behalf, or you hers?
I bear no loyalty to the witch queen.
You've shared common cause with her often enough.
As have you. Isn't that why you're here?
Touche.
The Taken run rampant, leaderless. It seems the Vex want them contained as well.
These pathways, do they extend beyond the Dreaming City?
I never escaped the city. I see no reason you should. Ah, still, when the walls close in, what is there to do but climb?
Just one shot.
That Hydra. I sense a core of darkness at its heart. The creature serves as the witness's eyes and ears. Destroy it, and we may yet obscure our intentions.
The Techians were right. We did it.
Riven isn't the last after all.
If only for the moment. You may yet shatter that truth. It pleases me to know that one egg survives. To know, even in death. A promising start, O guardian mine. Or is it merely bait on the hook?
Tell me, Guardian, does helping Riven sit with you as it does me? She's
Terribly.
a blade held in our hand, held too tightly, or trusted not to slip, and it will draw blood.
Airing your concerns to the Guardian as well.
Paracausal. Cyrus shows up.
Doubt is a useful tool, Queen Mara. But double-edged, is it not?
This wish was crafted by Savathun. Riven cannot be trusted with it. Has the Veil offered any answers?
My study has yielded many interesting curiosities. I understand how the Witness opened the Traveler, but not yet how to replicate it. I need more time.
I wish we had more, if you'll pardon the phrase. Time would allow me to insulate us from Riven's ulterior motives. But we've left the Witness undisturbed for too long. We must act.
Risk is a thing I've learned should be managed, not provoked.
Riven is risk incarnate.
To follow the Witness, I must reconstruct the bridge it forged through the Guardian's ghost. But the Veil is not a docile subject. Abuse it, and a similar fate suffered by the Dreaming City could repeat on New Muna.
So we bide our time while you seek an answer. Until then,
We're doing
we have
stuff.
a dragon to charm.
Yeah.
Back from scheming with Mara, are you?
So mistrusting.
O guardian mine, I hold no contempt for those who prepare contingencies. In fact, that is what I respect most about Mara. She is wise not to trust me, as I have never trusted her.
So what are you planning?
For ages, Awoken and Ahamkara were both allies and adversaries, each seeking to extract a victory from the other. That is the nature of all bargains, to relinquish as little as possible while securing all you desire. Our bargain is no different. It is not built on trust, but on the knowledge that upholding it will benefit us both. And that breaking it will result in more suffering than you can imagine. We must wait for another egg to drift across the ley lines and re-enter our reality. Continue securing my lair until then. Those who now trespass within it have nothing to bargain with, and are thus of no use to me. You would do well to keep that in mind.
I understand your concern, but if we cannot rely upon the Veil, the Ahamkara is our only option.
Even if it was Savathun who pointed us at Riven in the first place?
The witness is our priority. We've dealt with Savathun and Riven in the past.
And now Savathun is free and Riven is toying with us. I won't end up as a puppet again.
Nor I.
Sorry, I didn't mean...
I fear it too. The experience of watching your body perform a series of actions you would never condone. Of that terrible regret. But that fear won't stop me. Just as I know it won't stop you.
Was any of it real? All that advice Savathun gave me while she pretended to be you.
Some of it was real.
At the time Aldrin began his campaign
That's lies wrapped
against
in
the
truth, right?
Reef, he was already suffering from the Black Garden's corruption. Riven must have found him an easy victim. One could argue he wasn't fully in command of his decisions. All the same, the impact of those decisions was very real. So, let me ask you this. Did I give you good advice?
Life-changing.
Then hold on to it. This is an interesting facsimile of the widest city. Not unlike a simulation. Equally impervious to the demands of physical space.
You would see it that way.
Is it the work of a nostalgic heart, or that of a favored listless pet tunneling into the walls?
Simply indulging the creative spark, O mortal mind.
Man, I should change it up this time.
What voices will they hear?
I think it's kind of a shot at him though because his ghost is dead now. So he is mortal.
Guardian, good running tactical for you again. This is where the Dark Ether Trail went cold.
This is where Frodo Baggins is
Petra's
going.
calling. I'll patch her into the feed.
Mount Doom.
Petra, did you lose some scorn on Earth?
Not exactly. Riven tells us an Ahamkara claims territory in this region.
I've patrolled this range dozens of times. I'd have noticed a dragon.
They have a history
think?
of eluding you, but we'll get to the bottom of this. A minion of the Ahamkara here, I guess. Approach with caution.
What was that? I just got a spike of weird taken energy.
That was a chimera. It must be the Ahamkara's avatar. This is all that remains of the Ahamkara, then. Even like this, in its silence, it could move worlds. The damage the Scorn could have caused had one of them realized what they possessed. We'll secure the bones and make sure this can't happen again.
Yeah. This makes me a little worried about the hidden cost of our deal with Riven.
That thought has crossed my mind.
Petra, never apologized to you for what you're still going through.
There's no need. It wasn't you.
I'm sorry. He is too. Completely. If I could wish it away.
No. You're helping
pun
break the
intended.
cycle. That should be more than enough.
Is this bone all that's left? Not much of a territorial claim.
Death is not the end for an Ahamkara. If it's feeding, it exists.
That bone's radiating sterile neutrinos. Taken energy?
Yes, like poison in the marrow. But I don't understand how. It's like the Ahamkara here was feeding off the Taken, preying on their desire to fulfill a purpose. We understand what that's like.
They do like things that loop in on themselves. I thought only Riven dealt with the Taken.
Xivu and the Witness are indisposed. Many Taken are masterless. It's possible a strong will, like an Ahamkara, could have drawn them in.
Or maybe the Scorn wished them here.
Any Scorn making a wish probably doesn't realize they're doing it. At least let's hope not.
The Great Hunt doesn't seem to have stopped Ahamkara from granting wishes. It's a shame to shed so much blood for so little return.
They were beautiful creatures, but venomous with guile. It's true the hunt wasn't all motivated by safety. Ahamkara were a threat, but as you noted, their bones are still trophies. Some Guardians continue to wear them for power and status.
Like I said, a shame. Ahamkara were all across Sol. Maybe they're not all dead. I wonder who this one was. You know, you sit around enough campfires with Saladin, and you hear about castles like this. There was this warlord in the Dark Age named,
Don't start.
Naeem. She drank with a warlord who'd felled a shape-shifting beast. He led her to the beast's lair, a castle in snowy peaks. Inside was a skull that whispered promises.
Well, that's never good.
I always thought Saladin was just blowing smoke.
You found your people. Guardians
He doesn't
do
joke.
love their
He
myths
doesn't
and
lie.
stories.
Word salad always tells the truth.
Wait. Guardian. The knights you fought are marked. Something we did with the Barons.
Crow, you aren't responsible for this. These Scorn didn't come from the reef.
I'm not seeing things. It's a signature in the dark ether.
Fikril has been missing from the shore for some time. You can let this go.
How am I going to collect bones
Naeem
for?
and Heffend. That's the Ahamkara's name. They've become friends. Pretty tragic, actually. Saladin said their bond was like a mutual domestication. But it wasn't long before the House of Kings stormed the castle.
When the kings came, I take it Naeem didn't survive them?
No. And in her final breath, she wished ruin on their house. That her vengeance follow them into the grave. Very particular wording. Uldren had history with the House of Kings. That's what led to the Scorn in the first place.
I'm familiar with your history, but the banners here are ancient.
Like from the Dark Age? You know that warlord? The skull promised her anything she wanted. She offered that promise to surrounding villages. For tribute, of course. Brokered their wishes and protected against consequences. Naeem's reputation spread until... Any guesses, Petra?
She drew attention from the House of Kings, who coveted this power.
This all feels personal. Uldren links to the Kings, both linked to Fikrul. My one dangling thread.
Step back from yourself. New Scorn Rising drew Fikrul's attention, King's no less. What if this was a diplomatic envoy? The witnesses' scorn are empty flesh-made weapons, but the scorn here appeared to express a crude culture.
Fikrul's followers have
Barbarians.
always been different, capable of learning. Maybe he saw that potential here.
Then maybe you can still get through to him.
This has to be the castle from Saladin's story. The Scorn have to be kings. It's the only thing that makes sense. Heffend was buried here since the Dark Age, but the instant he could, he lured the Taken in. Poisoned himself, feeding off their ties for the darkness, their want. He found a loophole to raise the kings into scorn and enact his friend's dying wish for revenge.
Holding on to that anger for what? Centuries? Just to destroy itself with taking corruption. Of course. Vengeance is an Ouroboros, and everything cyclical is doomed to destroy itself eventually. Something is different about this one.
And so, the Great Hunt claims the life of another Ahamkara. You slew me 14 times, Wish Dragon. I landed a killing blow only once. Hardly seems fair.
Find another Wish Dragon to
They
resurrect it.
say that to draw a weapon against one of your kind is to wish for victory. Even if the beast is slain, the wish is granted. The dragon wins either way. Perhaps that's why they send me on these hunts. Because I do not wish to do this. The
Make people in power, even those that don't seek
are a
power.
force of nature. To blame you for an ill-conceived wish is like blaming fire for burning down a house. And yet, when a fire rages out of control, it must be extinguished. There is no joy or ambition in it. Only the knowledge that it must be done. Rest well, dragon. Let this castle be your tomb, one befitting a creature of your stature. That is the closest thing to a wish you'll get from me.
Shax is the other warlord?
Saladin never mentioned that? It's sweet in a way, that this is the way Heffend chose to speak to us.
Well, Heffend, I'm sure the Guardian found you a worthy opponent too. We were glad to hear your story. Who wants to ask Shax about this?
Bit of a slower burn with this one compared to the others.
Yeah, definitely.
And-
Like it started at like the first scene, it sucked you in, and then it feels like a lot more setup.
Yep.
With all of this, like then after that, like it's a really good start, and then it seems like it started to drag a little bit.
The whole thing with Marasov and like the sort of like setup recapping how we got to this point. And the first scene were very strong, and I was like, we're coming in and swinging, like this is great. We're getting right into it. And then it did feel a bit more kind of like heady and exposition, and we need that. That's not something that like you can not have. But when there's a lot of it, it does feel like it kind of slows the momentum down. I want to get back to the action and get back into the thing of it. Like when Marasov was like, I'm going to go do this and I need you to do what you do best. Carve a path. I was like, oh yeah, let's go. Like this is it. I think also the danger with a lot of exposition is that like, it's very easy to start to fall out of it, like to lose focus as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I've gotten to this point, I'm like, okay, but wait a minute. It's like, I feel like I didn't get everything that I was meant to get out of that.
Yeah, it's like when you read a book all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, did I just like, okay, I think I need to read that part again.
Oh, the number of times that I've reread a page because for whatever reason my mind has started to wander and I've gone to like my to-do list for the next day, or like, did I put that thing on the grocery list that I was going to put on the grocery list 4 hours ago? Because I don't remember. Like, and then I'm like, I'm down at the bottom of the page and I'm like, wait, who are we talking about right now? And I got to go back up and reread the whole page again. I feel a little bit like that's kind of what I experienced a bit here. I did like the fact that Petra is back. I liked
and Crow. I like Crow back.
I like the fact that she and Crow had that conversation that Crow said, like, I never did apologize to you and I owe you an apology. And her response was like, you're breaking the cycle and that's what really matters. Like, someone can verbally apologize and then go back to the same shit. And that apology doesn't mean anything. But like taking the action to break the cycle that was offensive in some way or God forbid abusive in some way, like, you know, it's the breaking of the cycle that is the thing that really matters. Yes, you'd love a verbal apology too in certain instances, but like that's not the thing that matters the most. And so I did like that exchange between them and sort of the Crow taking responsibility, Petra acknowledging that really wasn't you. Like that was somebody else. You've become a different person now and you're breaking the cycle. I did like that between them. I like Petra. I mean, Petra's loyalty to Marisov, of course, is like enjoyable to see, like kind of her clap back about like, I trust my queen's judgment. Like, boom, end of discussion. So I did like that a lot. The stuff about the bones, I feel like was probably more important than it will be in my mind. And I don't think it's going to stick in my mind very long.
That's what I'm afraid too. Yeah. To me, Destiny's at its best when it's talking about when like we're diving into like the dynamic between the different characters.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, I remember one of the conversations they had was like 3 characters and they were just kind of like shooting the shit. Like they were just, you know, at a bar, like having fun with each other. And it was like, while we were waiting for like the loading screen to like happen, like to the next part to load, I remember like there was like a thing at the top. It's like, you know, next scene at like, you know, in like 935 seconds or whatever. I don't know what that was about.
I think your hand freaked him out because he just woke up in your hand in the movie.
But like that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, like that's a little bit, I don't know, kind of more like slice of life within Destiny.
Yeah.
So what I like most about this one, other than like the Marisov, like Riven, and you know, like the kind of also the deceit, like they both know that the other one's going to betray one another. Like Marisov knows that Riven's going to betray her and Riven knows that Marisov's going to betray her. So it's like, okay, what, like the game within the game that they're doing. Yep. That all stuff is really fascinating. And I liked Osiris and Crow talking about, you know, just what it would be like to not be yourself, and the source of like, I don't know, sort of like the inspiration for your turnabout, your change. Like, I mean, like Crow's inspiration for bettering himself and whatnot had a lot to do with Osiris's help that he gave him and wisdom, but it wasn't Osiris, it was Savathun. So he's like, okay, I can say, I was like, well, you know, I kind of had this big light bulb moment and now I think it's all bullshit because it, you know, it wasn't you, it was Savathun. And so she was like, giving me a bunch of crap. I like what Sarah said at the end of the day. It's like, hey, like, did it help? He's like, yeah, it was life changing. It's like, okay, well then keep that, stick with it. It doesn't matter that, like, you know, I said it or Savathun said it. It's like, what matters is what you're able to glean from it and inspire you to better yourself.
And it's kind of amazing that like that wisdom came from Savathun on the one hand, because we're like, ooh, Savathun's a villain. Yeah. Like they couldn't possibly contribute anything good. But at the same time, the best wisdom for somebody who has kind of fallen to rock bottom is from somebody who also has been rock bottom. And if you're going down like the villain arc, odds are that you have hit rock bottom, and that's why you're kind of like in that world. Savathun is not like the rock bottom that her sister was in terms of like angry and so like aggressive, but Savathun has kind of that more stealthy, manipulative, like she's the other side of that shadow coin, which is betrayal and manipulation. So, you know, Osiris is right. Like she has wisdom. It often makes her act towards harming us, but like if the wisdom that she gave you was actually helping you, like take the help, no matter where it comes from, if it actually helps you.
Yeah, agreed. I think another thing that was kind of like getting me out of it in this one, or like maybe seeing like, you know, that whole what you said, you were just like, oh wait a minute, I need to I like zoned out there for a second or something. I need that to like be replay. Is like the scenarios, the scenery seemed like to be like the same in a lot of the different places over and over again.
There wasn't a lot of action in this one.
There wasn't a ton of action. If there's something like, you know, that we definitely needed to glean from this that you think is super important, please let us know. Like, give us the Cliff's Notes versions in the comments. And if you want early free access, you want to get a month ahead, check out Patreon. Links in the description of this video. Thanks so much for watching Season of the Wish with us. This is part 1, but just keep in mind,
And our reaction is definitely not definitive.